everyone, and welcome to the Cisco Support Community. Today we present a live Cisco Support Community Expert Series webcast. Our topic today, upgrading Cisco Unified Communication Manager to version 9.1, also known as the Drive to 9. My name is Dan Gerson, and I'll be moderating today's event. Our experts joining us today are Amit Singh and Vijay Rao. Amit is a customer support engineer at the Cisco Technical Assistance Center and in Bangalore, India. He has 7 years experience in his area of expertise: wireless, Cisco Unified Communication Manager, multi-services, Cisco Unity, and Cisco Unified Contact Center Express. Vijay is a network consulting engineer and is currently a unified communications consultant for Bank of America. He has been providing consulting assistance to the bank for the past 6 years. He helps design complex UC networks for large enterprise customers. Welcome, gentlemen. Our expert panelist today, Ashish Jolly, will also be here, and he'll help answer some of your technical questions during the event. Now I'd like to briefly outline the format for today's Expert Series event. Our experts will start with a presentation on Unified Communication Manager for the first hour of the program, and then right before we get to the Q&A, we'll provide an answer to our trivia question of football, baseball, hurling, and Cisco Unified Communication Manager. What do they all have in common? So stay tuned for that. Right after that, we'll dive into the live Q&A portion of today's event, which will last for 30 minutes, where the experts will answer your questions live. During our live presentation, you may submit your technical questions to be answered by Amit and Vijay, as well as the expert panelists, using the Q&A box on the right side of your console. The team of technical experts is well-versed in CUCM, so please begin posting your questions now to give us the best chance of answering them. If you experience any technical issues, please post those questions into the chat. We'll also be asking polling questions during today's webcast, and we do encourage you to participate by answering them. Also, you may download a copy of today's PDF presentation using the link in the chat window. Now, let's get started with today's event, and we'll kick things off with a polling question. What is your level of experience with migrating a CUCM cluster? Is it A, I know basic migration, but no idea about best practices and tools? B, I theoretically know CUCM migration, but no practical experience? C, I'm playing with migration in the lab? Or D, I'm migrating CUCM in production? You'll find a way to answer on the right side of your console. Please do so. Don't forget, you can submit your question at any time during the event, so please do submit them early to give us the best chance of answering them later. Now I'm going to pass the mic over to Vijay so he can begin today's presentation.
Thank you, Dan. Welcome, everyone. Today's session, as Dan described earlier, is the challenges or what exactly CUCM Drive to 9 is all about. Well, to give everyone a brief idea about Drive to 9, it's more about helping out our customers and the partners in the ecosystem to help them upgrade to 9.1 call manager without any hassles or without any issues, and try to make this process as smooth as possible. Now, the two key aspects of the Drive to 9 are around the licensing and the upgrade process. Now, we have done a lot of work in the background to help you with any kind of licensing issues which come up or boil up while you're trying to upgrade to CUCM 9.x. And we will talk a bit about it, but not a lot of it. In this particular session, we are going to talk about the upgrade to CUCM 9.x. What is new in this Drive to 9 process, which we have talked about and we have been advertising for some time now? What exactly we should look out for? What are the different procedures? What are the available resources? How you can reach out to different resources, say right from the planning, designing, implementation phase up to the upgrade part, and later on if you need assistance from the tech perspective. And then we will talk about best practices. Now, as Vijay has extensive experience in advanced services while designing and implementing a wide variety of customers, and being from tech myself, okay, we have seen some of the issues, and which we can always highlight for the benefit of all the attendees today and for our customers. With that, I think we can go to the next slide. Here, we will give you a brief intro of Drive to 9. Now, what we have done in past is we have written some blogs. We do have documentation available online, which describes, okay, what is Drive to 9, and we have a tech talk as well explaining Drive to 9. But that was more of like one-way communication, right? Now, with this live webinar, what we would like to do is we would like to present it to you, and then we would like to get the questions as well, like it's kind of a two-way feedback mechanism, and we would like to get more questions from you so that we can answer them. And as Dan will explain later, okay, the event will continue like online for 2 weeks, where you can post your questions to us regarding upgrade and any challenges which you might be encountering, other than definitely opening up the tag cases. So if we talk about Drive to 9 program, I'll give a brief for the teams or for the participants like who haven't heard about it before. So Drive to 9 is a specially launched program, okay, where we enable our customers to leverage the next generation collaboration experience, which comes with CUCM 9.1. Now, why 9.1? Okay, definitely that's a question which comes up. Now, with 9.1, okay, and with this Drive to 9 approach, we have done with simplified upgrade process. It's being a very well thought upgrade path mechanism being drive for you. Then we have reduced the number of migration guides or the documentation from, say, overwhelming 70 migration documents to 7 simple migration documents. Then we have come up with readiness assessment tools with which you can check your readiness for the system, that if my hardware is compatible or not. Okay, if it is not, then what is the next device, or what is the next level of hardware I should go to, which will be supported, and as well as, you know, like give me rate of my return of investment in the future. Then simplified license migration, as we said, and then a lot of VODs, the video on demands, which we have created to assist you in helping out and upgrading to CUCM 9.x. Other than that, like where we have created the different processes, okay, we also have very focused support right from the planning, designing, implementation phase, then over to the licensing SWAT teams, which are all ready to just assist you out on any licensing issue. So what you used to have before, you know, like say if you upgrade, then you have to talk to the licensing team, and sometimes that also used to be a bit of inconvenience and take some time during the limited migration or cutover time frame. So that those things are being taken care of now through the Drive to 9 program. So this is what I think I talked about, like simplified upgrade process and focused support. Vijay will take you through, because being from the advanced services team, okay, he will take you through the other 2 aspects of Drive to 9.
Thanks, Amit. Apart from the technical part, we also want to make it a compelling reason for our partners and customers to be moving to 9.1. To make it more attractive in terms of monetary compensation, there are various offers in place. You have various bundles. So if you choose a proper bundle, then there is a lot of discount also that would be coming up. And you can reach out to your account team to see what are the various offers that are running currently, and you can choose one of the promotional offers that suits you, whether it is in terms of the server hardware or whether in terms of the licensing or any other applications. So we have limited period promotion offers going on, and you can reach out to your Cisco account team, and they would be able to guide you in determining what is the best offer that would meet your requirements. And also for enabling our customers and partners to move to Drive to 9. There are various workshops that have been organized and some more are in the offering as well. You can reach out to your Cisco account team and see how you can be part of these workshops. And also, as Amit mentioned earlier, on the Cisco community, there are a lot of the video on demand, the learnings that are posted there, videos, sessions which are similar to what we are doing now. Amit has already spoken about licensing and other technical aspects of Call Manager 9. So you can be accessing these from the partner community. And also, lastly, there is an advanced services upgrade which is available. So if you want a white glove treatment wherein advanced services comes in and helps you manage the transition with the various best practices, you can again reach out to your account team and they would let you know what service from advanced services would fit your requirement.
Thank you, Vijay. Now, what's in it for customer? And definitely that's a question. Okay, I'm comfortable because I'm running my 7.1.5 or my 8.x. It's stable, and what's in it for me that I should upgrade my system? Now, definitely, most of the companies, okay, you would like to take advantage of virtualization. Now, 7.x, okay, that's something like which we developed 3 to 4 years back. And now, with the new coming versions, okay, we have already, very appealing features, okay, in video, in domain of BYOD, that's your bring your own device, then your business to business, in which you have your telepresence, your video endpoints, and then you have the mobility and the IAM and the native presence. So these are some of the appealing things, definitely you would like to look out for. And if you plan to upgrade, say you want to take advantage of your data centers, cloud technology, virtualization, so 9.1 is the version, 9.1.2 is the version to go for. And that is the reason, what we have in it for the customers. Now, if we talk about some of the new and exciting features, okay, so it's not a marketing slide, but we just wanted to get you excited, and we wanted to pick up and showcase some of the 5 features which we think of you will be interested in for, and very common in day-to-day usage, and you just get them once you move to 9.1. So Vijay, maybe you want to pick up the first one, the pause and speed dial.
Yeah. As Amit mentioned, we would not be covering all the features in detail today. We just wanted to give you a teaser of what's in 9.x that might interest you. The first feature that we would be talking about is pause and speed dial. This is a feature that was introduced with 9.0, and if you're trying to access your IVR or a Unity connection application, you dial a number and then you have to manually punch in the digits, your PIN, or any of the numbers that is needed to go to the further menu. Now with Call Manager 9, you can automate these dialing of digits. You can say dial 5000 to access your voicemail, and then you can also put in your PIN and the system would log you on automatically. It saves you the trouble of remembering and then dialing your PIN every time. So that is one of the features or benefits of using pause and speed dial.
Thanks, Vijay. Coming on to the second one, which is the local user and LDAP synchronized users. I'm sure most of the customers, they would love this feature. Now, in all the scenarios, you would have seen that the local users, at the moment you do a LTAP synchronization, enable it, the local users were marked for deletion, and then over the midnight, okay, they will be wiped out of the system. Now, with this specific feature, you can continue to have your local users, and as well as you can have a LDAP set of LDAP synchronized users as well. So both the local users and the LDAP synchronized users can coexist in the same environment. So this is how it's going to look like. So this in the front of the user status, you will see it's a active LDAP synchronized user.
Good. And this was one of the asks that have been there for long. People used to say, hey, why should I have only LDAP or only local? I want to have a combination of both of them. And we have been listening to you, and with this version, we are giving you the best of both worlds. You can have your cake and eat it too, both the LDAP as well as local users. And one of the other important features is the off-premise device in CER. This works in conjunction with Call Manager 9 and a third-party application called Intrado. If a person is outside his office or home, he is in a remote location like a coffee shop or a fast food joint, and he wants to make an emergency call out of his cell phone or one of the phones there. It is possible for a CER to be configured to route the call to the correct PSAP using this off-premise device.
Right, and what about Vijay? Like, do you think like where all this information can be available? Like, if somebody wants to read more about CER off-premise device, it's available with our.
Yes, from the feature and services guide in 9.1, detailed configuration and what are the benefits and what is the troubleshooting. All the information should be available on the feature and services guide on the CCO.
Yep, that sounds great. Here we come with native call queuing. As most of us, we do use Hunt Pilot and the line group members. Now with the call queuing consideration, and especially with the CUCM 9.x, the CUCM provides this native call queuing mechanism where the callers can be held in the queue until the Hunt members are available to answer them. Now that has been there before. What comes new is the callers in the queue, they receive an initial greeting, announcement, and then followed by a music on hold or a tone on hold. Now, if the user continues to remain on the call even for a longer time, a secondary announcement is played as configured with the interval time. So this is something, it can be a greeting which you would like users to listen to while they are being on hold, other than a music on hold. Say you're being in hold, please stay online. And it's I won't say like it's close to an IVR functionality, but it's very much serves the purpose without having a IVR system in place at your end.
Good. And the last feature that we would be talking for today is the CTI Extend and Connect. A lot of people have been saying that, hey, Jabber is a very good IM or client to be using on your iPad or on your mobile device or on your desktop, but it just controls my desk phone. In case I want to make a call from my desk phone or my laptop, then it's good. But what happens if I'm in a hotel or at a home and I want to be making or receiving calls from my analog phone or from my cell phone or my hotel phone? What do I do? So Extend and Connect is the feature that's going to be solving this particular issue. You can now control these home phones or your PBX phones or your office phones as usual. Any phone can be controlled right now from CUCM using CTI. So this is this makes moving to Jabber more compelling than what it was before.
Thanks, Vijay. And now we will step back. Okay, now that was a sneak preview into 9.1. Now we will now mostly target back to migration to 9.1. In here, okay, when we say like we have made like there are no gaps. Okay, we have covered up all the aspects right from downloading the 9.1 software up to the upgrade and the update licensing, up to the upgrade server, the endpoints, applications, and then so the way we start is you start with the readiness assessment. So we're going to talk about all these points, different aspects in detail. Not sure if the mouse can be seen, but if you see from the clockwise after the arrow, customer decides to upgrade. Let me try to put an arrow. Yeah, here we go. So here we have a customer decides to upgrade to CUCM 9.x. In this case, that will be all of you. Then we do a readiness assessment, say, to see if my environment is ready. Okay, where do I stand in perspective of my hardware, my software, my applications, my licenses? What needs to be done more to do my upgrade to CUCM 9.1, or am I already all ready, prepared to do an upgrade to 9.1? Then once we do all those things, okay, we do the complete checklist. We go to download 9.1 software. Then we have the upgrade and update license. Then you have the upgrade server, and then you do the final migration to 9.1 CUCM. Now, one thing which I think we would like to highlight in this scenario is most of the software, okay, say for example, like if you go for the D2.9, the Drive to 9 contract, okay, automatically all of these softwares, they will be available to you in your PUT, which is a product upgrade tool website. That's where you will see that all the files which are relevant for you to download, they're already available and listed in your PUT tool. So that way you don't have to worry about anything. Now, what are the upgrade resources and support? Okay, so for example, like PDI help desk, that's a planning, designing, and implementation. Now they're all just waiting for your queries to come through and ready to answer anything and every question for you. But that's for the partners as of now. Is that right, Vijay?
Yeah, these are for specialized UC collaboration partners. They can definitely be using the PDI help desk proactively in ensuring that the customer is ready to be moving to 9.1, Amit.
Yeah, thanks, Vijay. Then we have Drive to 9 tag. Definitely from tag perspective, okay, we have specialized resources, okay, or the subject matter experts who, because right now, if you look at it, okay, it's not a simple okay, just do an upgrade. Okay, once you do an upgrade, after the upgrade, we can have some issues like, say, for example, DB replication while switching version, even upgrading. So we have the subject matter experts available to handle all those queries or concerns for you on a right-away basis.
And Amit, I believe these are people who have been specially trained for the Call Manager 9 migration.
Yes.
Is that right?
That is right.
Okay.
Right, and then we have engineering escalation, upgrade services, the SWAT teams, which are available especially for, say, global licensing office. And so what we want to say is, okay, we want to assure, okay, we have done preparation at all the levels in order to support you to migration to 9.1 CUCM. So this is how a bit of support structure, how it looks like. Maybe Vijay, you want to go ahead with it?
Yeah, sure, Amit. As Amit mentioned earlier, these are dedicated help desk, whether in terms of PDI or the TAG or the GLO. The GLO stands for the Global Licensing Office. These are people who have been specially trained and who handle your cases day in and day out, which are specific to Call Manager 9. So they are the specialists and they understand what are your issues, and they are there to help you whenever you need the support. And in the back end, we would be working with the various engineering teams or the escalation teams. We don't expose them to you, but we have dedicated resources. Each team has dedicated resources to be going to in the back end to be supporting this. We want to ensure that all your questions are answered and you get the best kind of support. So dedicated help desk for each of these teams have been created to support the Call Manager 9 migration.
Thanks, Vijay.
And for the Drive to 9 support model, when do you engage what team? So this is a question all of you have been asking many times over. So this slide talks about when you engage each of the teams. When you are in a planning stage, you access the Upgrade Resource Center. This is your one-stop shop for all your questions, your documents, your video on demand and everything. You can go through these at your own convenience, and if you still have a question relating to planning, you can reach out to the PDI help desk that has been created specially for this. And if it's a licensing question, you can again go to the Global Licensing Office, the GLO team, or if you want a white glove treatment, Advanced Services is there in all the three stages, whether it's the plan, the design, or the upgrade. You can see that advanced services would be guiding you through. So we are there to support you in all the three stages, advanced services. And when it comes to the design part, your again single shop would be the resource center and the PDI and also the advanced services. And once you are in the process of upgrade in the production, when you hit an issue, then you can go to the TAC. If you are in a planning stage and ask a question to the TAC, say that, hey, I want to upgrade 2 months down the line and I have this query of an upgrade, the TAC would not be supporting you. They would redirect you to the PDI help desk because it's a planning question and you're not in the middle of any cutover or you don't have any downtime. So when you're in the actual process of upgrade, that would be the best time to be reaching out to the TAC.
Thanks, Vijay. So right now, if you talk from the support perspective, okay, let's define, okay, like what all is being put in place so that like you can always reach out to us, and then we will jump on to the readiness tools and as well as the different upgrade procedures which we have available. And I think the most buzzword around nowadays is the jump upgrade or the flash cut. And definitely most of you would like to know what is jump upgrade or what is the flash cut. Now, for the perspective of opening up a case, okay, when you have to open up a case with Cisco TAC using the SRT or the service request tool, the online service request tool, you have a new sub-technology available now, which is listed here. You can see the Drive to 9 initiative. So use this option and you'll be directly, the case will be opened up and you will be directed to a expert on the Drive to 9 or the CUCM 9 upgrade issues. So the person will be expert on all those parts. Right. So here we talk about the CUCM license migration. Okay, I was just looking at one of the questions also. I'll briefly cover a bit on the license part of it. So I'll say like the enterprise license manager. Okay, though this goes out of the scope of this specific presentation today. But I'll try to cover a bit, and if you can always go to Cisco support community and you can find a lot of information on the enterprise license manager. So starting with 9.1, we started with enterprise license manager where you don't have the DLUs or the device license units anymore. In the enterprise license manager, you have a enterprise license manager to which you have to add the CUCM product instance. And then depending on the call manager's own requirement, it's going to ask for the licenses from a enterprise license manager. Now, in current scenario, what we have done is in 9.0, when we launched it, the enterprise license manager, it used to be a bit complicated licensing model where we have UCL, the connect licenses, and then we have the CUWL. So UCL is your user connect licenses and CUWL is your Cisco user workspace licenses. Now in 9.1 we have made it very simplified. You have 3 different levels of licenses. It's called UCL Essential, UCL Basic, then UCL Enhanced, Enhanced Plus, CUWL Standard, CUWL Professional. Now if you'll ask me, okay, what is the difference between all of them? So the difference, the way they're being differentiated is the number of endpoints and the feature set which can be used with different licenses. For example, you will have an office worker, who don't really have to have like a telepresence unit available to him, okay? But maybe you want to give Jabber to all of them. So for that, you would like to have a UCL Enhanced or Enhanced Plus license, which gives you the functionality of Jabber and some of the soft phones. If you just want to give an analog phone, okay, you can just use a UCL Essential license. Now, you might have some power users. Power users, say the high-end executives, they need to have video endpoints. They need to have more functionality like mobile voice access and those kind of things. So in those kind of features, okay, you can always use CUWL professional license. So in the new 9.1, okay, you can have power user, you have information worker, you can have office worker. Now all this information is available on Cisco support community, and feel free to post your questions. Like once we do a 2-week follow-up on this session, feel free to post your questions, even if they're around licensing, like anything around the upgrade. Feel free to post those questions on the website, and we will answer back all of the questions for you. Now, in CUCM 9.1, okay, 9.1.2, okay, first thing is the UCT version. So that's a user count tool. Now, the way it helps you is, now again, we will not go a bit more in detail, considering like it's a session on the CUC9 upgrade, but it's very important to mention the UCT here right now. UCT is your user count tool, which helps you without upgrading to 9.1. Once you run it, UCT tool will pull in your information about your DLUs, and it will show you a comparison that, okay, these are the licenses you have right now, and what kind of user connect license, UCL, or what kind of CUWL licenses you can have based on your existing DLUs.
And Amit, I believe the UCT runs on both the Windows 7 and the Mac laptops. Is that right?
That is right. It's available for both. I have tested it on my Mac as well, and Windows. Yes.
Cool.
And extension mobility is definitely it's no longer licensed user feature in CUCM 9.1.2. I think that was quite a discussion way back, like when we had the extension mobility come in, and it used to consume an extra license because of the UDP, or the user device profile, being created. But with CUCM 9.1, the newer version of 9.x, it's not being licensed. It's not a licensed feature.
Amit, are you saying that in terms of licensing, it makes more sense for our customers and partners to be moving to 9.1.1a compared to the previous versions?
Well, definitely, we don't suggest nowadays our customers, to go to 9.0. So if you're planning to go to 9.x, go to 9.1.2. As if now the expected release date is in the month of July, in maybe next 2 weeks. Okay, what we can do is maybe by the end of the week, okay, I'll be in a better situation to comment on the confirmed release date.
But it's better that they move to 9.1.1a or 9.1.2, not an older version like 9.0 or 9.02, like that. Is that right?
That is right. We should migrate to CUCM 9.1.1a. Mm-hmm. Now, yes, but the users with the associated devices still require licensing. The way you have to do it is you have to go to a device, okay, and assign it a user. So if you will have an unassigned device, okay, that is going to consume a license for you. Right, so here we come to the license migration tool. Sorry, not the license migration tool, my bad. It's the upgrade readiness assessment. So what we talked about is once you have decided that, okay, you would like to go and upgrade your system to 9.x, the first thing which comes in is, okay, how should I know that, okay, my system is ready to do an upgrade? What are the things I will need to do an upgrade? Now, with the 9.1 especially, okay, considering that, okay, most of the customers, okay, it's going to be a refresh upgrade. So that's the thing, like when you have to be very careful about planning it out so that when you have the cut over, or when you migrate to the migrate the system, okay, you should be all settled and all well prepared for that kind of cutover. So for example, like you have to do some prep work before you start migrating to 9.1. So upgrade readiness assessment tool, which is a website online available tool, it helps you to assess your system. What you have to do is you just have to go online. You have to, if you see here, you have to put in your details.
And Amit, I believe this needs a CCO login.
Yes, that is right. It needs a CCO login.
Okay.
But just in case, like we do have an alternative, for that also. That's the iPad application, but I think we'll just talk about it in a while. Right now, what you have to do is on the website, the online tool which is available right now, you have to go in, put in the details, put in the Cisco Unified Communication Manager details. In this one, you have to upload two of your reports, okay? So one will be your cluster overview, which talks about, okay, how many nodes you have in the cluster, what version they are on, the hardware, all the information will be collected through that unified reporting, the cluster overview. The second one is your device count summary. Say how many devices you have in the network, and because this will help us to suggest you, like the device capacity or the capacity planning. So you upload these two CURT reports, and then you just click on the moment you upload it, okay, it will ask you to go next if you scroll a bit down, and then it will suggest you the migration guide, the what are the best way you can upgrade, what are the different documents which are available to you, what is the hardware suggestion which is available to you, what is the best hardware you should go for. In most of the scenarios, you will be getting a recommendation of a UCS box. The reason being because we don't sell anymore the MCS boxes, the media convergence servers, the 7845s, 25s, and the UCS and the virtualization is the future. So that's why you will be recommended if the version is not being supported on, if your hardware is not going to support the 9.1, then you will be made given a suggestion of a UCS box.
And there are two methods of providing the information to the upgrade readiness tool. One would be that you upload the CURT, which is the Cisco Unified Reporting Tool XML file, and the second method is you manually input the information. So with the upgrade readiness tool, these are the two methods. And Amit, I believe with the iPad app, you can put in the call manager credentials. As long as it's connected to the network, it goes and pulls and gets all these information. So both of them are actually complementary products. Is that right?
That's right, Vijay. So in this one, if you look at the method 2, okay, it's for example, you're not comfortable uploading your cluster information. You don't want to give out your device count summary, and you don't want to upload it anywhere. That's when the second method comes in, where you have to select the call manager version, the server which you are using, and that's it. And then it gives you, then we have a complex algorithm which runs in the background and does the check, okay, like what version you are on, what's the device capacity, and then it suggests you a migration guide.
And this migration guide is customized for a particular customer. It's not a generic document. Is that right, Amit?
Well, that is right. So you will have like 3 or 4 different migration guides, okay, which talk about if you're upgrading from 6.x versions to 9.1.2. If you're upgrading from 7.x versions to or 8.0 version to 9.1. If the third migration guide will be if you're upgrading from 8.5, 8.6 versions to 9.1. And it talks about, so most of the things will be common, the checklist and everything, but yes, you don't have to read a lot of documentation or a lot of migration guides. You can just use the tool and it will get you the migration guide.
So it's just making life simpler for our partners and customers, right?
That is right. Now, here's a preview of the upgrade guide, and as you can see here, once an upgrade guide is being suggested to you, you can see the introduction. You will see the upgrade preparation checklist. Then you have the pre-upgrade procedures explaining what all you should do before you do an upgrade. Then it talks about the upgrade process. And just in case if something doesn't work out good, okay, how to roll back. What are the different rollback procedures? We'll talk about these things a bit in detail. And the upgrade preparation checklist here on this side, as you can see, it talks about the licensing, compatibility. Definitely, once you plan out an upgrade, you will have some components which do depend on the CUCM, because CUCM is the heart of your call processing or most of the applications around. So this is something like you would like to look out for. The virtualization requirements, the software which are being required, configuration and login information, cluster registration, security tokens. So these are all the upgrade preparation checklists you may want to look out for. Yeah, seems like, Dan, we come down to our polling question.
Okay, our second polling question. How aware are you of the tools and processes created by Cisco to assist with the upgrade? Is it A, completely aware of the simplified upgrade process and tools available? B, know some of the process and tools, but need to read them in detail? C, did not know that special processes and tools created to assist with the upgrade existed? Please take a moment to answer on the right side. Okay, guys, back to you.
Thank you, Dan.
Right, so here we come to the main aspect of today's session, the upgrade process simplified. Here we have, so if you look at okay, let me explain this matrix to you for a better understanding. So right now on your left side, okay, you can see the current releases, okay? So if you're in your production system, if you're running 861 or up to 9.0.1, 802 to 851, and so as the different mechanisms, 801, 715, 701. Okay, so these are the current releases which you are running in your production right now. Now, you will have two kind of scenarios in this one, okay? First one is, say you're running these specific versions, and then you have your current hardware is supported to go up to 9.1. And the other aspect will be the current hardware which is like not supported to take you all the way up to 9.1. So in this case, if you're doing a direct upgrade virtual, okay, so these are the versions, okay, on the direct UCS upgrade, you can go to like from 8.0.2 and you're using UCS, you can always go directly to 9.1.1. If we are using an MCS box, which is your media convergence servers, 78, 45, 25, or 35, then you can look at this matrix up to 7.0.1, 7.1.2, 6.1.2, and 6.1.3. And direct upgrade versions are 6.1.2. So right now what you have to do is, in this scenario, up to 6.1.3, okay, you can go to 9.1.1. But if you have like 9.1.2, sorry, 6.1.2, you have to go to 9.0.1 and then to 9.1.1. And Vijay, maybe you want to take the high availability?
Yeah, sure, Amit. And for customers who have an older hardware and who have invested in it many years ago, and their current hardware doesn't support a direct upgrade to Call Manager 9. So we recommend that you use an intermediate version and also upgrade your hardware. So it would be a two-stage upgrade, and we would be covering that in the next slide. And we would also be talking about a new feature called Jump Upgrade. And this Jump Upgrade is new to Call Manager 9.1.2. It's not available on the previous versions of 9 series. We would be covering that also in the coming slides. And we don't have a direct path, upgrade path from Call Manager 4 and 5 because these are really old, and we wanted to start focusing on the upgrade starting with Call Manager 6. So we have provided links for 4 and 5. You can move to any of the supported versions of 6 or 7 or 8, and then you can move to 9. So we're not going to be talking much about the 4 and 5 in the next slides. We have 3 methods here, as I mentioned earlier. One is an in-place upgrade, wherein your hardware is supporting Call Manager 9. You don't need to upgrade your hard drive or your memory. You can directly upgrade it to 9.x. That is a direct upgrade. And in a high availability upgrade, it's a multi-hop upgrade. You need to be moving to an intermediate version of the Call Manager, and at the same time, you need to be changing your hardware as well. And while we are in the process of upgrading, we would make sure that your call processing is not affected if you have high availability enabled. Your subscriber would be doing the call processing when your primary is being upgraded and vice versa. So we want to ensure that you get your dial tone and your customers are able to make calls during an upgrade. So with a high availability, even though we have multi-hop upgrades and we're replacing the hardware, we would be doing it in a phased approach to make sure that the availability is there for the end customer. And for the jump upgrade, we have dedicated slides So I would be quickly moving to the next slide here.
Thanks, Vijay. So definitely, like when you are going to move your machines, okay, to over to a new UCS server, okay, these are the few things, okay, which we have to be very careful about. Now, the migration or the documentation, okay, which we have made available for you, the checklist, it talks about these aspects in detail. What we will make sure, okay, the host names, okay, so for example, whenever we are building up the system on before you restore the DRS backup on a UCS machine, you have to make sure that and you're building up the system in parallel, the host names, the IP address, subnet mask, all the username and password, especially the security password. Like I think most of you must have experienced it, like in past also, that if somebody installed the system, say 4 years back or 5 years back, and due to the lack of documentation, you don't know the security password. And then, like when you're adding a node or many other scenarios, okay, this is something which you always run into problem with. So you have to make sure like you have your security passwords and documentation ready before we try to replicate the system into a UCS environment or in a parallel environment. That definitely goes with your default gateway and TP, DNS servers, domain, SMTP or LDAP server details.
And
yeah, sorry, it looks a bit messed up right now.
The PDF that should be uploaded in the community center should be just fine. It's just that in WebEx we see a different font and it's a little bit garbled up. Okay, in the direct upgrade, we are migrating to UCS starting with Call Manager 9, and again moving to UCS is optional. You can still continue if your hardware supports on an MCS platform. On your, let me use the arrow here.
Right. So do we mean that the direct upgrade means that we can go all the way up to 9.1 on my existing hardware? Is that right?
Yes, that's right, Amit. And on your left pane here, we have versions of Call Manager, and we would need to do an L2 upgrade. We have two terminologies here. One is a L2 upgrade and one is a RU upgrade. So we have to go to a version which is supported for a direct upgrade. So it would be a two-stage upgrade here. So from Call Manager, say 612, we do an L2 upgrade. We don't need new license file because we are moving with the same version. We move from 612 to say 614 without any license file using an L2 upgrade, and then we upload a COP file to allow the system to recognize that a refresh upgrade is going to happen, and then from 614 we move directly to 9.1. If you're already on 614, then you can move to 9.1.
Right, and I think I would like to bring up one point here: the refresh upgrade. Now, as we know that up to 8.5 CUCM we had RHEL or Red Hat Enterprise Linux 4, and with the 8.6 onwards we have moved to Red Hat Enterprise Linux 5. Now, in order to accommodate that, okay, or to enable this upgrade, you need to install this refresh upgrade COP file, which enables or assists you to do the actual upgrade file. So during the RU, okay, or the refresh upgrade installation, okay, before you actually install the actual ISO of 8.6, okay, you have to install this refresh upgrade COP file, which is going to help you, like as I mentioned before, like it enables you to upgrade to 9.x or 8.6, which use the RHEL 6. Now, once you will install during the refresh upgrade, okay, it will have multiple reboots of the system. So that is something like which you will see and will be very evident. Just in case if the RU or the refresh upgrade fails, okay, the system will boot back, like to its own version with only one condition, okay, where we use this, I think the 7835 MCS box. That's one exception. Now, the refresh upgrade COP file, the RU, okay, upgrade file, you have to install it on all the nodes in the cluster when you do the upgrade. And once the file is installed, you have to give this patch is installed, okay, you have to give it a few minutes, okay, because it does a restart of the Tomcat, and the Tomcat will take some time to come back up. So you have to make sure that, okay, we definitely suggest you to do it in a maintenance window when you install the refresh upgrade COP file, because it's going to restart your or terminate your GUI and CLI commands. And also you have to do is you can do a show version active to make sure and see, okay, that it's being installed properly. Now, one very important aspect, okay, and very good feature about a refresh upgrade, okay, once you install it, okay, you have the capability, okay, to get or receive the email alerts about when the refresh upgrade has actually completed. But that is valid only if you install the refresh upgrade COP file and then you upgrade to 8.6 version, or in this case like 9.1, you will have the ability to get an email alert which will say, okay, now the upgrade has completed. Good.
And once you are on 9.x on an MCS platform, you can take a DRS backup and then restore it on a UCS platform after you build the 9. So that's a very easy way of moving from MCS to UCS. And if your current hardware supports 9.1, then we can always do an in-place upgrade. Whether you are on 8.02 or 9.0, these are the two versions which are supported on a UCS minimum versions. You can move from 8.02 to 9.0 or 9.1, and if you are on a version which is 8.5 or lower, as Amit mentioned, it needs a refresh upgrade and you need to install a COP file. But if you are on 8.6 or higher version, then you can upgrade to 9.x without a COP file. It's just an L2 upgrade for you.
So Vijay, right now what I can see is, okay, I can see some of these blue boxes and the green boxes. So since the blue boxes mention the conventional bare metal MCS boxes, and the green is explaining or showcasing the UCS boxes.
Yeah, that's right, Amit.
Okay. Right. So we can this way we move to high availability. Vijay.
As we mentioned earlier, if your current hardware doesn't support 9.1, then we have a method of replacing the hardware to UCS and also at the same time migrating to 9.
Right, and the migration guide do talk about the compatibility matrix. So if you're wondering, okay, where should I check if my CUCM is being supported on a particular MCS version or not? So definitely you can pull up the release notes of the CUCM, or just simply go to the migration guide, which you will get as part of the iPad application or the web tool, and then you can have this information, the compatibility matrix.
And on your left pane here, we have versions of Call Manager like 6.1 or 7.1 on a MCS platform. We do an L2 upgrade and then we move to an intermediate version. And we always recommend that the intermediate version be either 803 or 851. We have tested this as an intermediate version extensively, hence we always recommend that you go to either of these two versions, and you do an L2 upgrade to these intermediate versions on an MCS platform, and after that you install your software feature license because you're moving from an older version to a newer version of Call Manager. And once you are on this intermediate version, you take a DRS backup and you install the same version. If you've chosen 803, you install the same version on a UCS box, and then you do a restore that you had taken earlier. And at this stage we would need to rehost the license because we are moving from MCS to UCS, and we are moving from physical Mac to a virtual Mac, and your licenses are tied to that. So we get the license file rehosted onto the UCS. Now we are on either Call Manager 803 or 851 on a UCS platform. We do a refresh upgrade and then we move to 9.1. Again, when we are doing a refresh upgrade, we need to make sure that we install the latest COP file that is available on the CCO. And after moving to 9.1, again it needs a license change because we are moving from DLU and node-based licensing to UCL and COOL and ELM with 9.1.
Right. And Vijay, one thing I would like to mention is, okay, I know like there's some effort like while you're upgrading from 8.x to 9.x, but once you're on 9.x and you start using ELM, the first thing is, okay, you don't have to go, there is no dependency on software feature license anymore. There is no software feature license. Then we have the ELM, just in case your ELM, the Enterprise License Manager, goes down for some reason, you get a 60-day grace period to bring back the ELM. So that means because of the licenses, you don't face any downtime at all.
Thanks, Amit. And if your current hardware again doesn't support 9.1, we can virtualize your call manager on UCS and then we can upgrade to 9.1. On your left pane here, we have 8.02 and 9.0 on an MCS. We upgrade this to 9.0 on an MCS, and then we take a backup of this and we install call manager on the UCS platform. We rehost all the licenses and also do a DRS restore here, and then we do a refresh upgrade to call manager 9.1. Now comes the most important part, which is the jump upgrade. You want to talk briefly about the jump upgrade, Amit?
Right. So with the jump upgrade, when we talk about like say the top slide, okay, the top aspect, it says like how today like we operate. For example, like you upgrade to 8.3 on MCS, then you restore the DRS backup of that same. Let's say, for example, in this scenario, it's 8.0.3. We install the same on a UCS box, and then we upgrade to 9.1. Now, with the jump upgrade, what we made possible is from the 6.1.4 or like these supported releases, which you can see right now, 6.14, 6.15, 7.13, 7.15, you can install these versions directly on a UCS box, okay, and then you can upgrade to CUCM 9.1. Now, as you can see this red mark here, okay, the red call out, it says it's not supported in production. So what we have to do is you have to build a new cluster and flash cut it to the production. You build one system in parallel into your lab environment, and then once you're ready, you have done all the testing, you can just bring it in to the production environment.
Are you saying, Amit, that I can build a 614 system in my lab on a virtual environment? Is that possible now?
Well, that is right. So this was not supported as a part of it because we know that, okay, virtualization is being supported, or virtualization of unified machines is being supported 8.x onwards. And these were not supported, but during this migration to 9.1, these will be briefly supported in between.
And Amit, when we are building this in the lab, what OVA template do we use? Is it 9.1 OVA that we use for building a 6.1 system?
Yes, that is right. So here we come to the jump upgrade, okay, the flash cut to UCS. Now this slide explains a bit more in detail. So here, as you can see, we just go through. Sorry for the the presentation. I think it just moved around a bit. Now, when you have CUCM, these versions 6.14, 6.15, 7.13, 7.15 on MCS, you install these machines on a UCS box, like you take a DRS backup. So the blue box, as I mentioned, it's the MCS, the conventional bare metal server. You take a DRS backup, you install the machine on a UCS box, you restore the backup. After that, definitely, because we are going to move to RHEL 6, you install a RU COP file, the refresh upgrade COP file, and then you upgrade the system to 9.1.2. In 9.1.2, you take a DRS backup. Now, this is a very important part, okay? After you install the 9.1.2, you will have to rebuild this virtual machine OVA and then you have to restore the backup again. The reason being because if you will not do this rebuild of the VM on the UCS box of 9.1.2, as initially it was being set up as 6.1.5 system or an older system, you will get one particular error message. So if we can share that error message. So Dan, will everyone be able to see this error message on the presentation? Is it visible?
They should. I can see it just fine.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Yeah, thanks, Lisa. So this is something, like if we install 6.1 or 7.1, 7.x system on the UCS box, we take the DRS backup, we upgrade the system to 9.x, okay? If we are not going to rebuild the virtual machine again, this is something like one of the error messages which you will see that it was being installed on a unsupported hardware. So if you see this error message, be careful about it, and we have to reinstall rebuild the virtual machine once you upgrade it to 9.1.2.
And Amit, what happens if case a customer forgets to do this? Are you saying that a lot of errors in the database or with replication can crop up if the last step of backing up and restoring is not done properly?
Well, I think like most of it should work fine, okay, but yes, like you can see unforeseen errors, and definitely one of those error message, okay, which one of our customer faced, everything was working fine, but whenever the system, they had to reboot the system, they had to go in console and press the continue key in order to come back to the system to the up and running state. Okay. Right, so team, I think, like as we talked about, okay, these isolated network requirements, if you're for a jump upgrade, then you have to build a system in a isolated environment. You have to make sure the default gateway, FTP, SFTP server information, NTP server, data storage for firmware images, and like these are all the requirements like which we have to take care of, and all these requirements are listed in the migration guide.
And a lot of people have been asking for an easier and simpler way of moving from MCS to a UCS platform, and jump upgrade is an answer to that. We want to reduce the downtime it takes to move between versions and move between the hardware. We want to make it easier to be falling back, because you have the production system as it is. A fallback is very easy. You just have to change the TFTP server, and then the phones can register to the production system. And since we are using the same TFTP, same IP address, we just have to shut down one system and then bring up the other system. So fallback becomes all the more easier. And also there is very minimal downtime for the clients. When the phone registers between the two clusters, the existing call processing is also not affected. Only when they hang up the phone, it re-registers. So the downtime is also reduced drastically here. And the other benefits are also listed here. In the interest of time, we are just going to quickly go through the checklist, some of the best practices that we suggest that you follow before you start an upgrade.
Definitely, Vijay. I think it comes from you. Like you have like extensive experience, like in deploying, and you have to go through this checklist, I think, every time, right?
Yes, Amit. For all our large customers, these are some of the best practices that we always recommend. One of the first things that we do is you take a count of all the registered phones before you start an upgrade, and then compare it the phones after you have done an upgrade, so you know how many phones have registered and how many of them have failed, and then you can go ahead and troubleshoot them. And the other best practice that we suggest is that you upgrade the phone firmware prior to a call manager upgrade. Keep these two activities separate, because it gives you more time to troubleshoot as well as upgrade within a change management window.
Right. I think this is more evident, like more useful in those scenarios where we have the phones remotely located, and due to the bandwidth limitation, all the phones start to download the firmware at the same time and consuming the bandwidth.
Yes, that's right, Amit. And when you move to Call Manager 9, the ports that are used have changed. So you need to make sure that your ASA or your firewall or your access list has all the ports opened up for 9.x. And for all the ports that are used, we have a port guide that is on the CCO. You can refer and see what are the ports that are used in 9.x and then open up prior to an upgrade. And we also need to make sure that we have a full DRS backup in case we run into issues and we need to do a restore. Then a good backup is very, very important.
Yes, that definitely. So I remember the time, like when we used to have in our email signature when we were promoting, okay, let's do take backup of the systems, and it's very important because it saves a lot of time and effort later on, just in case if something happens with this CUCM system and we have to rebuild. So a proper full DRS backup saves a lot of time and effort later on.
And we also need to be performing standard tests. If you're using a certain feature, you need to be making sure that it was working before an upgrade. We don't want to run into a situation wherein it didn't work before and it didn't work after an upgrade, and then people attribute that issue for an upgrade. We don't want that to happen. So it's always recommended that you perform all the tests before starting an upgrade.
And after also, right?
Yes. And we also need to install the RU file that Amit spoke about earlier before you upgrade. If you're upgrading from a version prior to 8.5, the RU file becomes all the more important. And this needs to be installed on all the servers, not just the publisher, right?
That is right.
And the operational staff also need to be educated on how the pages have changed, how the features have changed. So a proper knowledge transfer is also important before we start an upgrade. And we also need to be deactivating the extension mobility service before we start an upgrade, and it needs to be started after we perform an upgrade.
Right, and I think it's pretty much well documented in the migration guides, which you will get as a result of the iPad application assessment or the web tool assessment.
Cool. And after we do an upgrade, we need to check the replication either through RTMT or the CLI or the reporting tool. Any of them is fine. Give it some time. For larger clusters, it takes a bit longer. So just give it some time and wait for the replication to complete successfully. And then after that, we can go ahead and start the extension mobility service and start doing our tests. We can again run a DRS backup. We can check the CUCM platform for a core dump just to make sure everything is up and working fine.
Right. I think, Vijay, I would like to take 2 minutes here, okay, and talk about the importance of the DB replication, especially in the large clusters, because what we have seen is because sometimes it takes a bit of while, like say if it's a mega cluster, like a 16 node cluster or an 8 node cluster, or even up like 6 to 7 nodes cluster, it can take time for the replication to set up or come up, okay? And it also depends if how many nodes are across the WAN. Now, what we have to be careful about is what we have seen is, okay, the DB replication is not coming up. We just try to do a DB replication stop on all the nodes and do a reset all. Now, in some of the cases, okay, you might get, good results, that was needed. But in some cases, when we when we get these cases, the reset all, because it's going on in the background, that takes a lot of time, and maybe that was not the right step to do. So what we will suggest is, whenever the DB replication is not coming up, and how do you check it? Either you go to RTMT and you see what's the DB replication status. As most of us know, 2 coincides with a good status of DB replication. It can be 3 because the DB replication to one of the specific node is broken, is not working, and because of that, the other nodes show a DB replication status of 3. So what you can do is you can do a utils DB replication runtime state command, to check the result. The result will be logged in a file. You can quickly review that part of it. If you have any specific questions on what to look out for, please post a question and we will reply back to you. Other one is a utils DB replication status to check the status of my my system. If the replication doesn't look good, okay, you can do a bit of investigation by looking at the unified reporting. Okay, in the unified reporting, you can always look out for the host, our host files to make sure, okay, after the upgrade, okay, if you have done some changes to IP address, host name, is that information consistent across all the nodes or not? You can always do a server connectivity check. You can look out for your DNS resolution. If there was any change to the DNS resolution, is DNS working fine or not? Both forward and reverse lookup DNS is is very important. So, and one more you can see is, okay, are my services up and running or not? Like a Cisco DB replicator, Cisco database layer monitor. Now, this is very important, okay, which you have to always look out for. So let's not just go ahead with the DB replication reset all, because that doesn't help always. We have to diagnose the system and do what is necessary. One last thing I would just like to add, and I'll wrap it up. The replication timeout, okay, you have to be very careful about this aspect. Depending on the number of nodes in your system, the replication timeout value, the timer can change. So, for example, like if you have, the way we calculate is if you have servers, 1 to 5 servers, then it's like 1 minute per server. And if you have 6 to 10 servers, then it calculates to 2 minutes per server. So for example, if it's 8 servers, then your ideal replication timeout should be like 16 minutes. So just to wrap up on that aspect, okay, so if you have a database replication issue, let's not go ahead, okay, and do a reset all. Open up, like, let's do a proper investigation before. Open up a tag case, and your subject matter expert will pick it up and will help. So what will happen is a proper diagnosis of DB replication saves a lot of time and energy. And as most of you have experienced, it can go on for hours and hours.
Thank you, Amit.
Hey guys, sorry to interrupt, but we're running very short on time, and we definitely want to make sure we get to the Q&A today.
Here we go, Dan.
Perfect timing. Very good. Okay. Well, let's just kick right into it. Just so everyone knows, you can still submit your questions, but there is not much time left. So let's start with the first one. What happens if you use ELM to convert DLUs from version 6.1 to CUWL on version 9.1? And then you realize you need to assign more licenses to a specific CUWL level. Can you change them at a later time?
Well, definitely, Dan, okay, and that's where the global licensing office, the SWAT teams we have set up in place, you just have to open up a case, give your requirement, and they will get licenses for you. It will be sorted out.
Okay. Easy answer. Let's go to the next one. Hello, when upgrading from 6.1, that's 4A, I would like to perform a forklift upgrade to leave the existing deployment undisturbed. This will allow me to easily roll back in the event of any issues. Is there such an option? If not, how do I best upgrade and roll back?
Dan, maybe have the question again, please.
Sure. When upgrading from version 6.1, we would like to perform a forklift upgrade to leave the existing deployment undisturbed. It looks like they're trying to have an option to roll back in case of issues, and looking for the best way to accomplish that.
Right. I think we were just wanted a bit of clarification of forklift upgrade.
That's a terminology we quite didn't understand. Maybe he can post the question, and then we can get back to him with clarifications.
Yeah, Dan, sure. I think the forklift, yes, is something, but I think the rollback procedures, the way I look at it, okay, if I can attempt to answer it. For example, like you want to leave your existing system, and the only way is the flash cut or the jump upgrade, what we were talking about. So you leave your existing system in place, you take the DRS backup, you build a parallel system where you install your 6.1.x in 6.1.5 or 6.1.3 in the virtual environment. You restore the backup onto the virtual environment, and then you upgrade to 9.1. So with this, what we achieved is you have built up a parallel system on a UCS box in a virtual environment, or we can say an isolated network, and your existing network continues to work as if, as in production. So I hope like that answers, but if more clarification is needed, we can post the question on the I think on the follow-up page, and we can clarify further and answer it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, all follow-ups can participate in the Cisco support community over the next 2 weeks. It's a great place to go. Okay, let's go to our next question. Does the UCT take into account the unused DLUs?
Yes, it considers the unused DLUs, and you need to be making changes and assigning it to either a cool or UCL. It displays the unused DLUs. Want to add, Amit?
Right. So that what we have to be careful about, okay, UCT is not going to like give us any licenses, you know, or the only thing it does, it just helps us to see how my DLUs are going to look like in the form of UCL or CUWL. So for example, I have like 1,000 DLUs at this point of time, and once you run the DLU, the UCT tool, it pulls up the DLU information, and then you can calculate, add, and subtract your licenses. So for example, you want to have, say, 100 of UCL licenses, enhanced licenses, or CUWL licenses. So you can pick a mix and match, and you can use that UCT tool to make a decision on how many licenses and of what kind you're going to request from the licensing team. So this is just to help you make a decision, and it shows you a picture of how your licenses will look like in ELM mode.
Okay. Let's jump to our next question. What is the migration path if I have CUCM BE 6.1 with MCS? Do I need a new server?
We need to check on that, Dan. We are not covering the BE6K here today. It's just the plain call manager for now.
Right, but I have taken down that, Dan, I have taken down that question, and we'll get you an answer on that one also.
Okay. All right, let's go to another question here. The VM template for 9.9x has a single 120 gig hard drive, whereas the 8.6 10K node template had two 80 gig drives. What has to be done to migrate? Can we use the existing VM template, or do we first need to create all new VMs using the 9x template to migrate our existing, and then the question drops off.
Right, I think the interesting question. Okay, so what we have to do is, and what we discussed is, we can say if you're migrating from a hardware like bare metal of 8.6, okay, to 9.1 in on the UCS, so you have to upgrade. So you can definitely do an upgrade, okay, with the existing call manager templates, the way it's being deployed to 9.1, and take a backup of the DRS backup of the 9.1 call manager. But when you actually deploy the 9.1, okay, so you will have to rebuild the system based on the 9.1 OVA templates and then restore the backup. So in short, yes, we will have to use the new templates which are being defined for 9.1.
Okay, good answer. Let's go to another question. I have CUCM 713 and CER 711. Both will be upgraded to the latest version and virtualized. Is there a specific upgrade pattern for the CER or CUCM to maintain CER functionality during the upgrade process?
Dan, we need to check on that, because this is only a plain call manager upgrade. So we would definitely come.
Right, I think that's an interesting question, though, Dan. And to answer that, okay, I think what we are looking at is what will be the compatibility metrics, okay, and the CER, should it be the same version as the CUCM or not? And right now, the upgrade path which we're talking about is mostly about the CUCM upgrade. And so it depends, you know, like, okay, if the compatibility holds true once we upgrade the CUCM 9, okay, and we have to upgrade the other aspect also. And it's more of like very CER perspective, okay, if the CER server, okay, does it support the same kind of upgrades, you know, like which CUCM does. So we can always reach out to the CUCM, the CER engineering team and get this clarification for you. That's a good question.
Excellent. Okay, I think we have time for one more. When performing a jump upgrade and restoring the DRS file on the UCS, Do all the servers in the cluster need to be virtualized and accessible for the restore to work?
Yes, definitely, Dan. We need to be, either when we are backing up or when we are restoring, we need to be doing it for the entire cluster and not only some servers in the cluster.
Okay, very good. Let's wrap up our Q&A time for today. If your question did not get answered or you're looking for some follow-up questions, be sure to visit the Cisco support community where our experts will be answering questions over the next 2 weeks, and you can get some more detailed answers there. We also want to give everyone a chance to make sure they can guess the trivia question from today, and we'll get to the answer here just in a moment. Real quick, we just want to go through and have a couple of housekeeping slides and a couple of promotions for upcoming events. As you can see, Vijay and Amit will be answering questions from July 9th to July 19th. That's in the Cisco support community. And we'll just run through a couple of these other events that are coming up. We have our webcast in Polish covering data center. We have one in Russian on the 17th, and that's going to be covering Contact Center Express and Enterprise. We have an upcoming event of July 23rd in Japanese covering ASA firewalls. We also have one in Spanish, July 23rd, covering ICE. Our next event in English will be on July 30th, Cisco Adaptive Security Appliance Firewalls, the lifeline of today's data centers. We also have a couple of expert events currently running, BYOD, as well as Cisco Nexus 2K and 5K. We also want to invite everyone to check out CiscoLive365.com, where you can find thousands of on-demand sessions and PDFs from past Cisco Live events, including the recent event from 2 weeks ago in Cisco Live Orlando, where we've recorded all of the sessions with video and audio recordings. That's over 600 sessions will be available over the next 2 to 3 weeks. You can get all the PDFs and visit partners at any time, and of course, it is free with registration. Please check out our other communities in the different languages, and of course on the social networks. And of course, today's answer to the trivia question is B. Cisco has implemented CUCM as part of Stadium Vision in stadiums that host these events. Thank you, everyone. Thank you to our experts and our question managers today. And thank you to our audience for participation. We'll see you next time. Have a great day.